even though it does look a bit untidy. Right, let's let her down. If you hang on to that one there, it's always best to take the bottom rope off first, because you can then free her leg like that and get the rope away from the bottom of the foot.
Is there any safety precautions we should be thinking about while dealing with these cows'
Yeah,
feet?
certainly I think you'd want to make sure you don't stand directly behind them. Often when if you're touching the cow, when you're lifting the leg up and down, you can feel if she's going to make a rapid movement. Probably the most important safety precaution is to make sure that she is to make sure the cow herself is safe and she's well tied up. If she's well tied, secure, feels comfortable, then she's going to stand quieter. The operator is safer, and of course the cow herself isn't going to get injured. That's why we use a fairly thick rope. Some people use a piece of sacking around the hock, others a piece of hessian, to try not to damage her as much as possible. We actually trimmed all 4 feet of the cow, but I think you've seen enough foot pairing for a while. In our next programme, we'll perhaps look in more detail at ways of lifting and securing front feet. Now remember, this was the shape of the hind foot we saw before trimming, with its very shallow front wall and a toe which doesn't even make contact with the ground. After trimming, look how the front wall has an angle closer to 45 degrees, and the whole foot is rotated forwards. Look how the toe now makes contact with the ground, thus bringing it into wear as she is walking. This will hopefully reduce further overgrowth. She certainly should walk much more comfortably as well. Because of the way we feed, house and manage our dairy cows, hoof overgrowth is an ongoing problem. The natural environment of cows is of course pasture. As soon as we bring them in onto a hard, unyielding surface and expect them to walk on pitted or damaged concrete or through thick, corrosive slurry, then we must expect problems to occur. This will be further accentuated by feeding regimes which produce laminitis. The net effect of these processes is often hoof overgrowth. In other words, foot trimming is essentially correcting problems which we ourselves have created. It's a job that every farmer ought to be prepared to tackle. It isn't easy, but with a thorough understanding of the basics and a reasonable training, there's no reason why it shouldn't be an on-farm job. We certainly need to prevent feet getting as badly overgrown as these. Right, you can have a go at this one if you like. Get the right length of the claws and then clip it off as for cut number 1. We make a mark at about that point.
So we'll then cut through the claw here?
Yes, cut through the claw. Yeah, I would have thought that was about it there. That's right, through they go. Good. Right, that's okay.
Oh, I didn't get right through then.
That's all right. Just get it gently lined up into the same cut there. Yeah, that's fine. Now you can see that this claw is now obviously longer than that, so you can cut that claw off to the same length, because we want our 2 claws at the same length. Yeah, that's good there.
Got it.
You got that. Now you can see you've got 2 really good square-ended toes there, and the white line goes down, disappears and comes up. So your next thing is to have a go at removing that horn with a hoof knife, so that this area disappears, and we also remove that square-ended toe.
Right.
So it takes a while to get used to using the hoof knife, but have a go and see how you go on. That's right, nice firm strokes down through. And remember, other than just pushing, push and pull the knife towards you at the same time. That's right, excellent. Because then you see how much easier it is doing that. Still quite hard, but certainly easier than just pushing.
So I'm supposed to be going down to find the white line?
At the toe there, yeah. You're doing okay, you just got to take a bit more off that claw there. That's right. You're getting down quite close to it. You can see the white line reappearing there, can't you?
Yep.
That's right. Yes, you're almost there now. And the other thing, you can just leave that for a minute if you want, and then we'll have a look at it a bit more. And then your cut number 3 will be dishing that piece there.
That's up towards myself.
You can either do it forwards or backwards. That's right, dishing that piece there, that's good. You're taking the horn out of that gap. You can do a couple of forward strokes and a couple of backward strokes, if you wish. That's right, that ledge will come off. Remember not to go too far forward, that's good. Yeah. But you must make sure you don't cut off that part of the wall. So you're dishing that absolutely fine.
So do I need to take more out of there?
A little bit more, I think I would take out of there, yes. Right, like that.
Up to there?
Yeah, that's okay. Right. Okay. Probably the thing to do now, though we haven't finished, is to start on the outer claw and get that roughly down to size, and then we can finish off the two claws together. The very first few strokes that are that much harder, because the outer hoof, particularly when it gets dry, is the hardest hoof. And then as you go further into the foot, the hoof does in fact get a bit softer. Oh. And you can see you're coming quite a long way down now to get rid of that, getting rid of that square-ended toe, aren't you? Yeah, that one's gone. You've seen already, you might have done this cow quite a lot of good. So you're getting that fairly smooth there. You can see you've got good weight bearing all the way along there, haven't you? Just maybe a little bit more off there. What do you reckon then? Do you feel reasonably confident about doing them?
Yeah, we'll have a go.
Do you reckon? You're not going to do me out of a job?
I might do yet.
Oh, thanks a lot. That's wonderful, lovely.